first, just to preface it before I say it, it's just about what inspired you basically to take the classes.
Okay.
Kind of did that. So I'll ask the question and you can go ahead and answer. So we'll get started.
Okay.
All right, Dominique. So what inspired you to enroll in Common Good Atlanta classes, and what were your initial expectations?
To be honest, what inspired me as far as the place I was in was just wanting to get out of that situation, being in the dorm, being locked down. I always sought secondary education, but what inspired me was to get out of the dorm. And since it was something more than just the normal behavior stuff, talking about Shakespeare and a lot of stuff I was not aware of, I was just interested and I knew it'd be something different. And as far as like what I expected, I didn't expect much, to be honest. I didn't expect much. I just was open to the experience.
Thank you. And the next question is, can you share any memorable moments, whether from classes, discussions, or social events that had a lasting impact on you?
Well, it's a few things that had a lasting impact on me, but the biggest moment I think for a lot of us is when we kind of start to understand what the representation means. We start talking about the connotation and denotation of words, and it helped me to start like thinking critically of how I saw myself. Like we used the word cat, and we hadn't gotten to a debate about what cat meant, and a lot of us didn't understand connotation, and a lot of us didn't understand that we was comparing ourselves to these things and the cultural impact of it, and just being in that critical reading and that critical writing class, it helps us critical think, if that made sense. Like the vocabulary, us understanding citizenship, like that was the biggest take I took from it. I took my first classes were critical reading and writing and critical thinking, and also composing citizenship, where we talked about the history of America and Japanese internment camps and things. And it just helped me see myself in a different way because I could critically see all the sides of it, because I could see representation in this field and how people might have viewed themselves, whether it was superior or inferior. But it was just a big experience. I know I kind of rambled, but the word that I would think of that helped me, not helped me, that came from my common good experience, was like just critical thinking. Like I was able to like really rationalize in a crazy place like prison, to be boxed in and to still, oh, stop, you don't have to stop dreaming. Like it's how you view in the world, it's your perception and how you're perceiving things. So just having those people in the past, whether it was Frederick Douglass or Christabel, something from Slim Grill, like just seeing yourself and all this stuff. So it was real relatable, if that makes sense. The instructors and stuff.
Yeah, very good. Thinking. All you got is time. So, I mean, be
Yeah.
able to, empower your brain a little bit is super important. Okay, thank you. How has your experience with Common Good Atlanta influenced the way you communicate and engage with others, including fellow students, family, and your broader community?
Like I had just said, my biggest takeaway from my common good experience was understanding citizenship. Um, the teachers and professors went out of their way to make sure that work that they knew we probably wasn't interested in was relatable. Like even the things we were interested in, they helped us see ourselves a lot better. So now going through common good, I just feel like it's my duty to be informed, be informative, bring people together, participate in the community, because I literally seen some people that didn't have to do it come into a prison and educate us. Like that was, I think that's one of the common good mottos. We're doing the common good of society, basically. And I tell people a lot of times people do the things they do because they're not educated. If they knew better, you do better. So me just being a part of that made me want to just be a part of my community and give back to society. And I'm part of the alumni. I do my best to try to bring us together. Um, it lead me to the work I'm doing now. I do mentorship and advocacy, and I strive for education all the time. I haven't been back to school in a while. I don't know when I'm gonna go back, but I'm gonna go back eventually.
Okay. I'll say this differently than the question is. So common good, it sounds like maybe common good or just your overall experience has influenced your career
Mm-hmm.
aspirations. So how has your, and maybe you've already touched on this, but is there any, you can expand on it. How has your incarceration and or CGA influenced your career aspirations?
CJ still give me a space where I feel like I can do what I want to do professionally, if that makes sense. Because my incarceration made me not necessarily. I valued money too much before my incarceration. So, but we all know that we need money to get up in this world. But going through organizations like Common Good Atlanta, it shows me like, no, like, oh no, value people, like value change, value community, and you'll be okay. So as far as like how it's pushed me, I write more. Like it taught me, not taught me, but it going through Common Good kind of reinforced the skill that no, you can write good. Like no, you can be confident in these intangible or these mental skills and do that type of labor instead of oh you got to use your back or you got to try to do business. You got to try to get ahead. So it was a like a whole shift of like morality versus enterprise, if that makes sense. And it just showed me my route. Like no, do this. Like you can do this. Like and not just for work. Like this is hobby. Like this is life. Like I love to debate. I love to read and try to. I listen to a lot of podcasts about a lot of different topics. I love diversity, and in our classes, a lot of diversity, like political reviews, cultural reviews, ethnic views, and it just showed me that we was all the same, and that education and community was a big part of going forward and coming togetherness.
That's powerful. I'm going to have a couple more questions. The
Okay.
next one is about the people who are still incarcerated,
Okay.
considering Common Good Atlanta classes. What advice would you give someone considering taking a Common Good Atlanta class, of course?
First of all, be open and that you are going the right route by seeking secondary education. Anytime you can, I guess you want to say, rattle the cage, because that's what you're doing. You're rattling the cage. You're stuck in a place, but you're not stuck, like mentally. So, yes, continue to seek the education. It worked for me. I don't want to say work, but it worked. Like I learned, I grew, and I took something from it. And that's really it. Yes, just continue to seek the education. It's a good group of people. Continue to be a part of the organization. Continue to try to bring something to the organization. Not just be a recipient of services, because I feel the organization is better when the alumni and the people that's affected by the organization also bringing things to the table, whether it's accepted or not, but be involved.
Sorry, I had a little tickle in my throat. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The last question is you're already connected as alumni coordinator for Common Good Atlanta. So how do you see yourself staying connected in the future and enhancing the experience of other alumni coming home?
That's something I've been thinking about a while. I ain't gonna lie. I've been in this role about 3 years, I think. But I always think about that. Um, I was talking to one of my colleagues, Eric, and one of our last meeting, and I was talking about how to celebrate us. And the feeling I took away from it is like it seems so simple, but the guys, myself included, it feels like we don't feel it don't feel good until that moment. Like what you mean celebrate us? Like, yeah, we all right, we doing good. But every time that moment comes, like the joy be overwhelming. Like we're too strong, we're too hard or something. But just celebrating these wins, because there's so many stats out there saying that we are not supposed to be doing this, and remind people like, yeah, we are the exception, that this is not normal, like that you are a trailblazer. Like have grace for yourself and things of that nature, but continue to celebrate ourselves and also continue to foster this sense of community, whether it's understanding that the guys that are incarcerated, like really incarcerated while they're in there, the community needs to know that these guys are changing. Like the community needs to know that self-awareness and self-discovery is happening. The community needs to know that things like common good are happening. So just trying to, as far as on me, bring the alumni closer and celebrate them and having them celebrate themselves and being more confident in themselves, and also mending the bond between or killing the stigma between the community and the justice impacted community.
All right, I think I'll add one last one. I think we didn't quite cover this one. Could you just share a sort of common good Atlanta related highlight? So it could be an event once you were on the outside. It could be a moment in class while you were taking classes.
Well, the highlight I remember the most is is my first bit of confidence. My confidence was showing. I think we did like a walk up Arabia Mountain, and it was a street musician. He's playing the trombone. But I was talking. I can't remember, so I don't want to misword it. But it was either Bill or Sarah. Um, and I was telling him that I wanted to get into interviewing and I wanted to get into blogging. He's like, just go interview him. Like, what? I was like, well, yeah, be your first one. I'll help you edit it. And just that feeling of that support, that pushing me when I'm not when I'm not as confident. Him knowing that I would probably be good at that. Yeah, it was Bill. It was Bill. Him knowing that I would probably be good at that. That was probably, and now I do. I do interviews. That's what I do. I do outreach work. I did stand up comedy. Like, I don't have a problem speaking now. So that was like one of the first events. I can't remember if it was what event it was, but we was walking up Arabia Mountain, and I did a blog post, and it helped me figure out a lot of stuff, and it was kind of the beginning of me getting creative since I was home.